Welcome to the Macc Policy Board meeting today here in Park Township. We'll start with roll call and someone who doesn't have their mouth full. Start over at this end.
Blake Wright, I'm Dr. Anderson.
Luke DeVries, Port Sheldon Township.
Kevin Kleinstra, Zealand.
Luke Walters, MDOT statewide planning.
John Yocker, Fillmore Township.
Tom Bird at large.
Jason Latham with the Macc.
Linda Howell, Lake Township.
Kurt Vancouver, Ottawa County Road Commission.
Tom Unk, Zealand Township.
Jim Story, Allegan Township.
Vince Bush, Holland Township. Russ Casal, the Macc Authority Board.
And Nathan Box just walking in. And back here, Judy.
Oh, Judy Fisher, the Macc.
Next row.
Steve Frankenberg, Lake Township.
Alec Miller with the Macc.
Cole Oversee with the Macc.
Eric Dexter with the Macc.
Well, welcome, and we will look for a motion for approval of the minutes that have been sent out to you.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or corrections? All those in favor of the motion respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Any public comment? Any members of the public wish to comment? Okay, and we will turn the agenda over to Jason.
All right, well, thanks, everybody. This is September, so this is year end. Got a lot to cover today, but all good stuff. We'll start, Alec, with you.
All right, transfer. This is on. This is good. Okay. So, dare I say, I have my biggest life update for everybody. I don't know if I look differently to anybody right here. So, here are some little pictures. Perfect wedding. This is the best picture, though. The Macc crew, all at the wedding right there. Nobody had any alcohol to drink. Everything was fine. Yeah, it was a great wedding, and everything went good. So, now back to the boring things. Tip amendment. Job number 214189, budget increase, real simple. This is MDOT job. This is for modernization for some signals at an intersection. Anything to add?
Just like you said, budget increase.
All right, so short and sweet for that one. No comments, questions. I'd like to get a motion for this.
I'll support it.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion on the table. All in favor? Respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Next thing we have is our Safe Streets for All next steps. On the left here, you'll see a bunch of names. Those are all the people that were at our safety committee kickoff meeting. That was September 16th at the Macc. That was a really good meeting. It was just basically, what do we do now with everything? So AECom was there, Pam Blazo and their whole team. We discussed some potential projects, how the funding was going to work. Craig Atwood, like always, asked a lot of really good questions. He likes to get into details, which is good. We need somebody like that. So lots of good questions. Felt like everybody was on the same page. We had, as you can tell from this list, we have a really wide range of representation. It's not only just the county road commissions, but we have the townships, ODC, Stacy from the Disability Network. I don't know what the L stands for in that, but she worked with the disability. So she was good to have. We also have a open house October 10th at the Macc from 4 to 6 p.m. So we can encourage all of you to show up. I emailed it to the TAC. I don't know if I emailed it to you, but I will do this. We have this flyer. We also have it in Spanish. So I'll have Judy email this out to everybody. And if you guys could please put this on your website or make flyer of it and post it in your office. AECom created a really nice website for us where you can go into this map. It's an ArcGIS online map, and you can mark down any intersections or just things that you think are unsafe, or if you think there's congestion. And I've looked on the map, and there's already like 15 to 20 things on there that the members of the public has put on there. So it's a real great way for us to visualize what areas are all the problems with. So yeah, Jason, anything to add to this?
One other thing I'd like to add is that map's going to be super helpful when we're meeting with the public. And AECOM, the way they explained it, this is going to be data intensive. So they have all of the crash data, all of the data you can possibly think of, they currently have, and they're analyzing that. But they want to know from the public what the public thinks. Are there areas that they avoid? I think that's the way Pam puts it. There's an intersection she avoids just because it's complicated and she doesn't like the turning movement. So she wants to know that information because the data might not show where there are near misses or there are locations that are, areas that motorists avoid. Or whether you're a bicyclist or just walking crosswalks, those kind of things. So once we have all this outreach and we have this map with all the data and all the information, then we're going to start to do the analysis. And then we can go to the next step, which would be selecting project types. So for now, it's a lot of data gathering, and if you can get the word out, please do. We would appreciate that. The more robust interaction we have, the better plan outcomes we will get.
So that's all we have for that. No motion or anything on this, just wanted to let you guys know. Thanks.
Yep, so next up, we have some green commute information. Cole did an outstanding job helping us out this year, so he's going to go over highlights from the week.
Yeah, so Green Commute Week wrapped up September 14. Here I just have kind of some, comparing it with other previous years. 2022, we had 21 participants, 14 winners, 969 miles that were logged. In 2023, we had 200 entries. Not sure about the exact participants. I don't think we logged that. 11 winners, and then 2,153 miles. And then this year, we had 80 participants, 38 winners, and 3,851 miles logged. So hopefully we can keep getting that number up every year. I was happy to see that I beat the other year, so at least I did my job. On our socials, for this Green Commute Week, we had about 864 views on our Green Commute Week website. Since I put it up there in May, we got 3,011 people that we reached on Facebook through 24 posts. 1,200 people reached on Instagram, and those were through 17 posts. And then we came out with a video on Facebook that had a little over 1K views. And then we got to do an educational session. We collaborated with Macc Transit on a Friday. We went to Holland Language Academy, took one of their buses, parked out there, and we had some educational sessions with about 100 kids. There were 2 4th grade classes, 2 5th grade classes, and we just discussed the benefits of public transportation in Green Commute Week. And then at the end, we passed out some bike helmet lights to all the kids. So that was just a great way to get out into the public. Well, yeah, that's my update on Green Commute Week. It went well this year. Hopefully next year it goes even better.
Nice. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. What's a winner?
So a winner, basically, people who logged their miles, their names were put in a raffle, and then we got these donations from various businesses. And if they won, they would get one of our prizes.
So T-shirt, $25
T-shirt.
gift card to
Yep.
the bike shop, those kind of things.
What did they have to do to qualify?
All they had to do was just log their miles during the week. We just had like a survey put up, and then people who wanted to participate in Green Commute Week could log any miles included like carpooling, walking, biking, public transportation, and then they got their name put in.
All right.
Yeah, keep an eye out for the next year. It'll be good.
I will.
Yeah, you may win some good prizes.
I rode my bike here.
Oh, a week late.
You know what, we'll give you a prize.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll give you a T-shirt. Yeah, we got a T-shirt. So it was really nice because we had the T-shirts. Cole did a great job. All the prizes laid out in the lobby at the Macc. So every day during the week, people were coming in and they all rode their bike too to pick up their prize. So they were happy to participate. They thought it was a good program, and just to be able to ride their bike places, and then they were excited to win a T-shirt. So it's fun. Yeah, and just that interaction was good.
It was fun, yeah, being able to meet the people that I only saw the names of, it was great. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea with the school kids. I know in Zeeland, at our schools, the traffic congestion by schools during the school year is terrible. And if we could get more people, kids riding the buses, taking their bikes to school or walking to school again, that'd be great. So if we could educate the parents a little bit. And I don't know how you would do that, but somehow
Right, we
to the schools.
Yeah, we want to do more of that for sure, and I think with Grand Valley, that's kind of who I'm always comparing. Like all the students at Grand Valley State University, they all ride the bus. Like nobody takes a car anywhere, and it's like, well, if we can kind of get that paradigm here, that would be really nice. And I think with the route study and the new routes that are coming, I think there's an opportunity to see the ridership go way up. And I just think that'll be nice for our area.
I think
Hopefully this is a nice way to do it, whether it's Green Commute Week or not, but if we can do some more of these sessions with kids, I think that'd be great.
I think after the pandemic, it seemed to ridership on school buses went way down, and the parents take their kids to school more. So if we could get that switched around,
Yep.
it'd be fantastic.
A quick question for you. Is there any way to assess the environmental impact in terms of, how many pounds of carbon was reduced?
Yes, I think I did the math there. I didn't add it into the slide, I should have, but I think it was around a little over 3,000 pounds of carbon taken out based on the numbers that we had. So, yeah, yep. That was good. That's all good? Yes, thank you.
All right, so now we're to MDOT comments.
All right. Nothing too detailed today. Probably everybody's familiar with the 196 business loop construction. Just a couple updates on recent closures. The southbound US 31 off-ramp to Chicago Drive is shut down this week as part of just getting that eastbound bound, getting ready for that to be paved. Same with Waverly / 120th. It's closed this week to about beginning of October. And with that, we're still looking at kind of a mid to late November completion of that project. Well, it's going to be weather pending, but that's the targeted date for that. So aside from that, it's all the major project updates I have.
Are you, I don't want to put you on the spot, but does it look like all the contractors are going to have all their work done before the...
Statewide or?
Yeah, kind of, at least in my drive home. I'm getting nervous because there's a stream crossing down just south of South Haven, and I don't think I've seen a contractor there for a month, and the traffic's crossed over and nothing's happening. They got a ways to go.
Not knowing the specifics of that project, Jason, I mean, I could ask my counterpart down there. I mean, there could be any number of issues with material supply,
Right.
anything around there. But, at least for this project, we're on track. Keep everybody on this project.
Good.
But others around the state, where you're going, I can ask, get back to you.
Okay, all right, well, that's good. It's just, I'm hoping there isn't an issue where it's got to be crossed over all winter. That would not be fun.
I definitely understand.
But I'm sure it's out of your hands.
Now, do they have to do a little more on the east end of the,
Business loop?
yes?
As you get to about just the south side of the city of Zeeland, that's going to be concrete joint repairs. We did that with westbound. I think once you get to about Paw Paw Drive, right around there, that's the actual new inlay reconstruct segment there. And then east of there, yeah, it'll be the joint repairs. I believe there's still a little bit more work to go with there.
They're going up to 84th or 88?
Yeah, 88. That's where we, back in like 2017 or 18, that's where we had worked with, I believe, the MPO at the time and others, the township, on kind of restructuring how that system works. So there's still kind of that little gap in there between 88th and where we're reconstructing now, but the foot repair should make it usable for a while.
Just the city of Zeeland. We're the only ones that didn't get anything done.
Just another 10 million we didn't have.
I don't think the governor likes us.
Are you responsible for, what we're talking about from Kurt, the Paw Paw Drive comes over Old Chicago Drive and goes back to Paw Paw? Are you responsible for that, or is that the township or the road commission have to fix that dump that he goes over? You know how you used to be able to cut through?
Like
So I heard-
ramp, basically.
Well, you kind of come from Paw Paw to go over Chicago Drive to Paw Paw again by the Fish and Gaming Club.
Oh,
There's like a big drop like that on both sides. I thought when they did the project that someone was going to be responsible to make that bike friendly to go across. Do you know, is that MDOT or is that road commission?
we can talk. I'm not quite familiar with that specific location. I know there was some interest around Paw Paw. I don't know if that was resolved with that project. The issue is the cut through there had there was a lot of the cars turning onto the local streets where there is good space, and two, it was a safety hazard. But looking at some of the alternatives, I think is.
Yeah, so that's completely gone now, right? But going across for bike traffic was, I thought, the thought, because it kind of connects into a bike path across the street by Macc Bank there.
I can ask.
That'd be great if you could, just, because it's probably 6-8 inches difference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And cars are flying by at 50.
That's like curb and gutter, basically.
Yeah.
You're climbing up. Yeah, I can ask.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate that. All right, we're going to jump into the administrative update. We got a lot of good things here that I'd like to cover. On the financial side, we're looking really good. This is, like I said, we're just about at year end, so things are looking good with all of our funds, from our CPG to asset management to the data collection, et cetera. We've hit all those numbers we were trying to hit, so that's looking really good. What I'd like to do is probably just jump right into the memos. Like I think we're going to start with the watershed deficit. If you guys had a chance to look at that memo, I can give you a quick update. So the MAC has been carrying that watershed deficit now probably since 2018. So what our auditors have done, and we had a nice discussion, is they said really what we need to do is we need to take our fund balance from the general fund and pay that off as opposed to carrying a deficit forward. So discussed this with the exec committee, and it was nice. I think Mike said that at Port Sheldon they had to do the same thing. But in the end, what I'm hoping to do today is to get you guys to approve basically zeroing out that watershed deficit. It's around 85,000. It was as much as 160,000, but we're at a point where we're not going after those big EPA grants, and a lot of the way the grants are written now is there really isn't a way to actually get more money than you expend. Really, on the grant side, it's the MAC puts in 20,000 and then they'll give you a grant for 20. It's not where I think. Right when I started just over 2 years ago, we were finishing up those 2 EPA grants, and they were like, write a watershed management plan for $500,000. Well, you could write the watershed management plan, and maybe it only cost you $420,000. So then there was kind of like 80,000, additional funding. So that's how we were able to knock that deficit from, I think it was over 160,000 down to about 85. But what Chris wants to do is next week, October 1st, that's year end, go through our books, see where everything is, and then that number, which I believe will be really close to 85,000, with your support today, transfer funds from the left pocket to the right pocket, and the bottom line will be the same regardless, but at least we won't be carrying a negative balance in that fund. So any questions on that? Does that make sense? Like I said, we talked about this at exec committee, and this is the right way to go. Our auditors and Chris are in support of moving forward with this. If you guys have any questions, we can jump into that, or we can move forward with the motion
I got a question. I don't know if I used up my question allotment already. Being a new, my third question will be my final one. So what's the advantage of doing it? And then why don't you just phase it out over time? Why are you using the lump sum?
Right, so the advantage is technically you're not supposed to carry a negative balance forward. We've been doing it because we've had a surplus, so the auditors are able to point to that and say the bottom line is the same, and you know they're kind of doing this dance, but they're like, look, you can't carry a negative balance. You just can't. So we want to make sure we're not carrying a negative balance. So it's not an advantage versus a disadvantage. It's just the right way to do bookkeeping. And then as far as phasing it out, we're really not bringing in enough money to phase it out quickly. And again, we'd be carrying that negative balance for several years. So there's really no sense in loaning us the money and then loading it back. It's just we have the excess funds, so let's just use those to.
So there's a balance sheet somewhere that shows
Yep,
the
yep,
balance?
yep.
I got you.
Yep.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
If I could comment on that, Vince, this is sort of a ledger adjustment. When the work was performed over the years, we had a staff and we allocated money to projects that were a little squishy. You know, so could you accurately say how much overhead was charged to this particular project or not? But it's all one bank account, and I guess technically we booked charges against the operating fund that were more related to environmental, and the accountants just want to levy it all up and clean the books up.
Yeah, thanks. So with that said, looking for the motion.
I'll make a motion to offset the watershed deficit by transferring funds from the general fund in the amount necessary to create a zero balance at year's end.
Thank you. And we got a support? All right, any additional comments or questions? All right, well, all in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, same sign? All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, now here's a good one. This is nice, I should say. I'm not cover your eyes, ears. So the MAC has received an additional $27,355.99 over the 2011 to 2018 timeframe. So talking to Chris, basically what we do is we develop our indirect rate, and then as the year goes on and we're requesting payments from MDOT, we use that rate, and then at the end of the year we hope everything equals zero and life is good. In this case, what we actually billed MDOT, and once you do the calculations, MDOT actually overpaid us a couple thousand, $3,000, $4,000 a year in that time frame, and it totaled $27,000. So MDOT has now closed the books for that window. So their books are closed, and they gave us too much money. Chris is suggesting and requesting that the board approves that as revenue, so then he can book it, and it's not just hanging out there as a liability. So we don't anticipate MDOT ever asking for it. If MDOT ever does ask for it, we obviously have the money to do it. But at this point, the right thing to do is, again, back to cleaning up the books. We don't want that liability out there. MDOT's closed their books. They're not going to ask for it, and we'd like to recognize it as revenue. Any questions?
Go ahead.
Since it was originally grant money, even if we book it, do the strings from the original grant stay applicable to this money, and therefore do we need to make sure that it gets spent on something that would have been an eligible project even all these years later?
I think we're just booking it as general revenue, and it just goes into our fund, and we can use it however we see fit. Any other questions?
I do. 2019 forward, are there discrepancies in those years as well? And is there anything in place, because it's wonderful to get $27,000
Yeah, right,
in
yeah,
additional
exactly.
income. My initial thought is, well, what if we'd been shorted
Going the
each
other
one
way,
of
yeah,
those years
yeah.
and going that? Is there some system in place to be able to deal with this moving forward so it either doesn't happen again, or we can game that system and keep it working in our favor?
Right, I think,
There's nobody from MDOT here.
I can tell you, the goal is to hit it so it's zeroed. It's perfect. What we bill is what we get, and that's what we're owed, and that's what we spent.
Right.
So I don't know, Luke, if there's anything you want to say to that, but we're really, I mean, that's the goal, is we don't want to underpay and we don't want to overpay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so one thing I can say is that, and I wasn't here from 2011 to 2018, but I do know that a lot of the time towards the end of the year, if there is an adjustment in the indirect cost rate, Chris will go in and make adjustments then to basically the year-end billing to adjust those back. So I'm not sure if that was being done previously or not, and I'm not, super familiar with all those different processes either. But
Yeah, that's the goal, is that last bill is to let's figure out if there was any overages or not right monthly, and then that 12th one that goes into MDOT, account for everything, so that should zero it out.
So it's kind of a follow-up. It's kind of like at the end of the budget year, you realize you've got money left over in your budget, and it's, do we buy a copier or new office chairs for the additional money so that we make sure that we zero it out? That's what we're looking at?
typically it could be adjustments. It would be those expenses that have already been made,
Right.
kind of thing, and it's just kind of adjusting if those were already eligible expenses that were made and just didn't get billed correctly, kind of thing.
Or the indirect rate wasn't applied correctly,
Right.
or it's changed over time because we haven't spent as much, or we spent too much. So we zeroed out, but it's really all based on our time. It's not based on usually copy machines or things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like if you take the money, there's no recourse on action, right? You can put the
Correct.
money in your general fund,
Yep.
MDOT's good with it.
Yep. That's my finance director is telling me that's what we need to do, and MDOT's like, yeah, we closed the books. They're not gonna open them back up. All right, so looking for that motion.
So moved. I'd make that motion.
Support.
Support, fantastic. Any additional comments, questions?
Who was the support?
All right, all in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Thank you.
And a big thank you to MDOT.
Yes.
If only they were listening.
Yeah. All right, now this is an important one. They're all important, but this is, so fiscal year '24, which we have a week left of it. Two things. I'll start with Safe Streets for All. If you remember, we received that $300,000 grant from the feds, and we were very easily able to put that into the 2025 budget. But because we received that grant after the 24 budget was already approved, we haven't amended that into the 2024 budget. So we need to make sure that we have that in there, as we actually started working on that a couple months ago. So that's an additional $50,000 that we would like to put into the 2024 budget. And obviously, if we don't spend that full 50, it's going to carry over to 2025, and then in 2025 we'll have to adjust those numbers potentially. And then the second item for 2024 is the MyCore volunteer stream cleanup. This is something that ODC is providing the match money for and is working on right now. It's $3,540. And we would like to add that to the 2024 budget. They're going to finalize that this week, and we want to make sure that we capture that additional $3,500. And then for 2025, there was an oversight on my part. There was $20,000 of CMAC that was actually we did a tip amendment to add that in early in the year, but it didn't get put into the UWP. and we didn't actually update it into our tip. So we would like to make sure that line item is in there, so it's in our budget. We knew it was there and you guys approved it, but I didn't get it into the actual budget itself. So that'll be a total of $40,000, not $20,000. And then we're obviously, per the ODC agreement that we just signed last month, that's increasing that funding to ODC by $26,000. So that's that per that agreement that you approved last month, it's now $140,000 per year to ODC with that MOU. So both of those needed to be amended into the 2025 budget. Any questions on those? All right, then I'm looking for that motion to adopt the. So moved. Very good. Tom Unk.
Kevin?
All right, so any other comments, any other questions? All right, seeing none, hearing none, then all in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Thank you. And then the last one was at the exec committee. I gave them an update, kind of my year in review, and we hit highlights. And the good news is they felt that I was doing an adequate job, which I appreciate. And what I am looking for is a motion for the one-step increase for hitting all the things I was trying to hit and do for the year.
So moved.
All right, and then support?
Support.
Support. Any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we're going to go to member comments. Do we want to start?
Yeah, I will start. So last time you were here, I don't know how long ago it was, at least maybe a year ago. Yeah, something like that. But anyway, pickleball courts are finally done. Getting a lot of use out of them, and having people out on that property is a wonderful thing. So we're doing some further development out there. We've had ODC spraying to kill off a lot of the vegetation out there, because we're going to have it then planted for prairie restoration. So we can hopefully get some butterflies, birds. There's a lot of birders in western Michigan, and some of these prairie birds, they're hard to find anymore because there's no prairie. So hopefully we'll bring some of those back. There's going to be walking trails out there. We had a committee working on our community center for the plan for that. They've engaged not only the residents, but they actually went to a couple of schools. They went to West Ottawa, they went to Black River, and they went to one other one, and I'm forgetting that, to get students involved in the process as well. And they've came back with some really good plans. And we're just getting the public's input one last time, and then hopefully we'll be moving forward with the community center, which will hopefully be built right outside. So part of this development as well. We passed our master plan, and I think you all probably saw that because it goes around to you all. And so thank you that you thought it was okay. Appreciate that. We're still dealing with our short-term rental lawsuit, but because it's still going, I can't comment any further. So, and then last but not least, one big thing, the Coast Guard abandoned their station here in Park Township, so we're working on purchasing that. We're going to likely be producing some bonds for purchase and to fund that, and that's really more for a cash flow as opposed to a necessary thing. That's what our accountant would like us to do. So, and then that will be the base for our water safety, rescue, that type of thing. So, so quite a bit going on. So, any questions? All right, good. Thank you.
I haven't been to a meeting in a while, but I think Elise and some of her staff have been on the route study. So that is completed, and the next phase is really implementation, and should be a lot of exciting things happening at the Macc over the next year. That's it. That's it.
Really? Highland Township, let's see, full-time fire, you guys know we're going to full-time fire. We've had outstanding applicants for paramedics, which we weren't sure what we were gonna get, so that is very good. Our Chief Jim Colsell is doing a great job of trying to recruit those guys, and it's working. So we're excited about that. Community center, the track is in place, and the elevated track, they're starting to enclose the facility to get ready for the winter months so they can work inside. May 2025 is still kind of the date where they're talking of being open to the public, kind of starting to work on rate structure and flow of that process. And then lift station 30 is the big one up by north by New Holland. They're going to run that all the way from there all the way down to the digester in the city of Holland. So that's moving right along. All the easements are in place and everything's moving right along. That's what I got.
In Allegan, we've completed the addition to the courthouse in terms of the external addition. Now the construction crews move in to rehabilitate the inside and actually build the additional third circuit judge courtroom. And then our county services building, in which we want to relocate the non-court offices, that renovation to that vacant space is basically done. Some fit and finish things remain. And we will have, unfortunately, a conflict with your October 10 Safe Streets open house. We're doing an open house that time, at that very same time, so the residents can see where their money is been invested. My colleagues from the Road Commission are with us today, but during the construction months, they completed, apologies to our chairman, Mr. Bird, 2 roundabouts. One at the intersection of Old Allegan Drive and Blue Star Highway, and then one, obviously it's more of an MDOT project than a Road Commission project with the city of Allegan in our downtown area of the city. I've been on both of them in the last 2 weeks a couple times. Everyone seems to be getting the hang of how to take care of it, how to do it. So, and it survived without any major incidents. Our county fair, which attracted 350,000 people to its 9-day run.
Wow.
Nothing really new to report, Zealand Township. We're just wrapping up our bike path resurfacing maintenance stuff. That should be done this week. Looking forward to the completion of the business loop. That would be great.
Appreciate everybody's patience.
Yeah. So, otherwise than that, nothing new.
All right. We approved our strategic action plan at a meeting last week, Thursday. Most of our construction projects are wrapping up. Jim Miedema, who is our chair, is turned out and have an opening on the board and be filed by October 8th. So if you know of any well-qualified individuals, encourage them to run, because I guess we're going to have appointments done by the 1st of December.
The major event that we're working on is obviously our manager search after Al Mischkins decided to retire after 35 years. If you know people, the deadline is October 9. We already have several interested people that have filed their applications, and the initial report from our search firm is that we have some good qualifications and some good responses, but again, that's open until October 9. The other thing that we have every fall is out at our Felt Mansion. We have everything from an event on October 1 with a magician, Steve Marshall, coming in, to the spook tours that start on the 21st, to trick or treat after school on Halloween. So if you want to find out more about all of the old stories of the Felt Mansion and that we all grew up with, if you're on the south side of town. They've got a lot of events. I'd encourage you to check out their website. And then finally, I think everybody knows I opted not to run again. Steve Rinkelberg is here with us today. He won the primary in August for supervisor. So he's starting to learn everything that goes into it that most people don't see. So, with that,
Thank you. City of Holland, continuing to move forward on a lot of the projects that we have going on. I won't belabor those because you guys have heard those before, but a couple of things recently just completed last week. The 5th Annual International Festival, which continues to draw larger and larger crowds from around the state and around the region to celebrate all of the different cultures that there are in the Holland area. Also included a visit from the mayor, Marco Out from Assen in the Netherlands, which we sent a delegation to go visit there last October, and we're working on an educational relationship with them. They were incredibly impressed with Hope College and are hoping to have more and more things going on. And people say, why Assen? Well, if you've been to Collin Park, there is a statue called the Immigrants Statue in Collin Park that celebrates the first Dutch Vendrelti and the first Dutch immigrants that came to this area. It was a gift from Assen in Drenthe in the northern Netherlands, which is the area where a lot of the first settlers from this area came. They gave us that gift on our 150th anniversary. It was done by an artist from Assen, and the twin of that statue is in Assen, and they don't refer to it as the immigrants statue as we do. They refer to it as the emigrants statue, the people who left there. And what I found was really interesting, we visited that when we were in the Netherlands last year, was you could purchase it if you'd like to for about 13,000 euros. It currently sits at a camper park just outside of Assen. So they don't see it with the same kind of reverence that we do, but that's there, I guess. And then also to follow in the steps of our neighbor Zealand, who always makes great decisions. We are in the 3rd week of what we refer to as our Citizen Ambassador Academy. It's a 10-week program on Monday nights where we're teaching a class of about 25 residents about the inner workings of the City of Holland. We've had 2 great meetings with them already. It's a great class of really engaged people from about mid-20s to mid-80s and every kind of person that you could possibly imagine, all excited about their local government. Who would have thought?
Like that, all right.
Yeah, our last board meeting, we just passed the truck ordinance. We've never had a truck ordinance. And hats off to the Allen County Road Commission. They have all the signs up already. So they're right on it. So I don't know. That was kind of prompted by LG Chem complaints about truck traffic and stuff. And we're like, well, we don't even have a truck ordinance. We better get one. So we throw one out. Passed that last meeting. And boom, it's done. So, so that's, yeah.
Very good. Anything else?
Zealand, Pumpkin Fest coming up first week of October, so come down to Zealand, see lots of displays, and parade, of course, everybody loves a parade. Zealand Main Street should be hopefully open middle of October, so our snow melt system will be completed, and Main Street will be paved, so the whole 4 blocks will be done and drivable again. The building on the main part of our business district, the new one with 10 apartments, I believe, is going to be finished soon. And the new one that on the main corner of Main and State is starting. So another 3-story building that's going to be up. So our skyline will be looking a lot different in the near future. And as far as Nathan said about the Citizens Academy, it's kind of a cool thing. So if you'd like to try it sometime, we had lots of interest, and we got interest for next year again. So yeah, it's surprising. They were supposed to last for about an hour and a half, and a lot of them went over because people had lots of questions. So good thing to have.
Wonderful. For Port Sheldon, we're working on cleaning up around the township hall our tennis courts and pickleball. Always busy. Like that's just blew up. So we've got we're gonna be adding some more like seating around there, some maybe trash cans. Which, by the way, I didn't know trash cans cost that much. It was ridiculous.
Amazing.
It was like, was like, that's for 3? Okay. So we're going to be doing that. People seem to really like it. A lot of community seems to come out there and really using a lot of that type of stuff. For our residents, there's a couple concerns. Obviously, we have a power plant. We really don't know too much of what's going on with that still. They continually give us updates. Mike usually goes to a lot of those things. But there's no decisions as of right now that's been made. And we pretty much don't control that. So, it's their thing. The other thing that is concerned is the Wyoming water pipe that's going to be going down Van Buren all the way. A lot of concerned citizens about with the agriculture and the housing and shallow wells. They're going to be dewatering for a while, and they did come and talk to us about that a little bit, but they don't really know exactly either because the funding isn't quite secured. But that's going to be a big project that's going through our area, and I know a lot of people are a little concerned about that. But that's about it.
All right, thank you very much. All right, well, we're going to run to the final item, and there's a couple things I want to bring up real quick under the other issues. At our technical advisory committee, Al Nienhuis brought up a rail crossing issue. There was a big pothole. It was on, I think it was Port Sheldon Road, right?
Van Buren.
Yeah.
Buren 30.
So I called my MDOT contact in the rail side, and he said that location's already been written up, and he contacted the inspector to let them know at CSX that more people are complaining, and hopefully it's been fixed. I don't know if they would get to it that quick, but I felt good about that because the one guy I know at MDOT, he is really good, and he has really good relationship with all the rail companies. So the fact that he was able to reach out and talk to them directly, I felt good about that. Which then brings me up to, Jim, you brought up a rail crossing at M40 over there by Hudsonville Ice Cream Shop. And that, the rail crossings they're issues. I mean, they go bad, and it's hard to get in communication with the rail owner. I know that the rail companies do have asset management plans, and they, we'll be there every 10 years or whatever it happens to be. But the problem is sometimes they don't make it, and then you got to wait 2 or 3 years before it gets on their list. But I was able to meet with a CSX employee. I actually was out fixing something, so I stopped and talked to him, and he said, what you need to do is at all those rail crossings, there's a rail number, there's a phone number to call, and then there's a rail ID on a little placard.
A blue placard.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And he said, call that number, and then call it again, and then call it again, and then call it again. He goes, I met with the high up person, and he said, that's what you need to do. He goes, it doesn't sound like it's, you already called it once. He goes, but the more you call it, it'll keep, working its way up to the top. And then that's how they get notified. That's how they set priorities. So the blue placard tells you what the crossing ID number is and gives you a phone number, and I think just hand it out to the office, and that's how you should start your day, calling that number if there is a problem, because he said that's how you get it to the top of the pack. So that was good. I mean, that's just good information. I mean, I think I would have probably noticed the blue plaque and maybe called it, but I wouldn't know to call it several times. And that's the inside information of the day. So with that, any other items anybody wants to bring up? All right, then looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, support?
Support.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
The next meeting is at Herb Eldine Education Center.